From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Monday's edition of For the People. It's May the 15th. It's 2017, and looking at Capitol Hill, some video right now, awaiting President Trump to speak at a national event for peace officers, a memorial service honoring the fallen heroes of our country. And unfortunately, it just seems more officers being killed in line of duty, mowed down, just killed point blank when they're actually just sitting in their patrol cars. It's pretty dangerous out there. Speaking of a dangerous world, this weekend, 150 countries have been affected by a cyber attack, and we understand here at For the People that we may not be immune to this, and according to cyber experts, there is a trail back to Microsoft on this because it affects XP. Now, I was never a big fan of XP, never a big fan necessarily of Windows. I've never met a version of Windows that I was thrilled with because, well, I became a Mac user, and we just don't experience these kind of problems. Thankfully, knock on wood, knock on whatever, but it's been disastrous. And basically, in a nutshell, thousands, tens of thousands of companies. It's the largest attack, by the way, in the world. Nothing has happened this fast, this quick, crippling medical centers, businesses, high-profile businesses, companies all over for a lump sum of money in Bitcoin, okay, which is kind of universal. But it takes you hostage, and basically, it's pot luck. Maybe you pay it. Maybe you get your computer back. Maybe you don't. Here is President Donald Trump in Capitol Hill delivering the keynote address at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service.
That was so nice. That was above and beyond. That's the way I'm going to be with you, too. And it's a great honor. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to address America's heroes on this most solemn occasion. Words cannot express the depths of our gratitude, but I hope that our actions will show you how deeply we care and how strongly we feel about protecting those who protect us. America stands strong with our men and women in blue. Believe me, we stand strong together. I want to recognize Jim Pasco, Linda Henney, Chaplain Wiggins, and everyone at the Fraternal Order of Police for all that you do to protect the law enforcement of this country and all of our communities. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. As long as I'm president, you will always find an open door to the White House. And you've already found it, believe me. Mr. Vice President, Cabinet Secretaries, and members of Congress, we are gathered here today at the U.S. Capitol to pay tribute to those brave law enforcement officers who gave their lives in the line of duty. On this police officers' Memorial Day, we thank God for having blessed so many of us with such incredible heroes, and we pledge our solidarity with their families and loved ones, and many of those great families and survivors are here with us today, and I'd love you to stand up. Families and survivors, what great, incredible people. And your loved ones are looking down on you right now, believe me, and they're very proud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Whatever you need, we are here for you, and we are praying for you. As I look out today at this amazing assembly of police, detectives, marshals, and sheriffs, I want to make all of you remember and heed this promise. I will always support the incredible men and women of law enforcement as much as you have always supported me. And you did. Big league. Your presence here reminds us all of what is at stake on this sacred day of remembrance. Each May during Police Week, new names of fallen police officers are added to the National Law Enforcement Memorial. This year, 394 brave souls joined the over 20,000 men and women who gave up their lives in the line of duty to protect us. The names of these heroes are not only carved into that wall, but carved into the hearts of the American people. And by the way, the American people love you more than you will ever know. I can tell you that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Capitol Hill, it's just standing room only. There's people sitting on the Capitol lawn, but President Trump there saying, I'll always support you the way that you have always supported me. Some great reassuring words for the men in blue, if you will, across this country that certainly need the support and did not get near the support, if any, hardly, from President Barack Obama, who, a lot to the left, mock the police, and several, unfortunately, those that sit in the Capitol allow that portrait of pigs dressed as police officers to be allowed to be seated somewhere there so all can see. It's disrespect. I tell you, I am very, very proud of the police officers that do a fine job around our country. And if it wasn't for them protecting us, I wouldn't go outside. Most of you wouldn't. It's too many gangs, too many bad people out there wanting to take advantage of you. We very thankful for the law enforcement. And I'm friends with law enforcement officials, people on the very, very top. And they tell me that half the things that they do, you'll never get to read in the paper. You don't want to read it. You don't want to know. They handle it. They take care of the situation. But it's amazing how many things do happen overnight and that you'll never even know because they want you safe in your community and not to fear. Fear is not a good thing. And certainly it isn't. It can paralyze people to no end. All right, back to this vicious attack on our computers, and many people are not even turning on their computers. When I say the U.S. earlier, talking about this unprecedented cyber attack, here in the U.S., FedEx, rather large U.S. company, don't you think? French car maker Renault, just to name but a few big companies here. But in the U.S., folks, in the U.S., so if you're using XP, you could be a victim. And there have been many companies in the U.S., hospitals, they like to do that because what they realize, these bad guys, is that people will put up the cash to get their records because it'll shut them down. Now, what can you do to avoid such a catastrophe? A lot of people, they save the stuff right to their hard drives. A lot of these big companies do, and it freezes them. Cloud-based systems, they say, is the way to go. A lot of companies haven't done it, and for whatever reason, and they can't back up things as quickly. Cloud-based in several different places. You could have 2-3 different clouds backing up your stuff. I work in the cloud. I think it's terrific. But they use more safeguards than most companies do, because that's what they do. Don't be a victim. So if you have a small business, medium, large business, you got to keep an eye on this. My best advice, don't use Microsoft. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but it's true. Once you go Mac, you don't go back. And there's a reason for it, because I have owned a Mac, and I do business on it 24/7 practically, okay? I've never had a virus, never had a blue screen, never had a crash. Nothing has happened that I've had in Windows machines, and I've owned dozens and dozens of them since Windows 95, folks. And the Mac, they just work. Yes, they charge extra for it, but there's a reason for it. Yeah, it uses a little, the setup's a little bit, it's a computer. You can learn it very, very quickly, and most of the programs that you're using can work on one. Some don't. Get one written for it, but most of them are compatible, and you can actually partition your drive, which they say is like anti-Mac, but you can actually partition it so it's half Mac, half Windows, and you can still do things in there. It's kind of strange, but it can do that if you needed to do it. But this is a very scary, I guess I could say, scenario, because it's something that this broadcast has spent hours and hours on talking about. Cyber attacks, and how Al-Qaeda and ISIS are looking at our computers, and our enemies are looking at our computers, and how they can literally shut our way of life down overnight. Now, I am sitting on some amazing books about what you can do to protect yourself and your family. Survival Guide bundle. And it's got everything you could possibly ever want in case there's a meltdown on how to survive. Literally. Because our power goes down, what are you going to do? Your business is going to close. Schools are going to close. Grocery stores are going to close. You're not going to be able to pump gas. Our way of life will shut down. And believe me, folks, this is not BS. This is not garbage. This is very, very serious. This weekend, senior security staff held another meeting in the White House at the Situation Room. That's this past Saturday, and the FBI, the National Security Agency, trying to identify those who were behind this massive cyber attack that affected 150 countries, including our own. Said one official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to the news agency to discuss the internal deliberations. Security experts warn that further cyber attacks are likely. Now, folks, I don't know about you, but I'm ready. You have a generator, got propane, solar panels. Can you survive? Bare minimal, a generator. You can buy one right now while they're on the shelf, and you want to have it hooked up to propane. Have one ready. I'm a firm believer of protecting yourself. FEMA's not going to be there to plug in a generator for your house. All your food will go bad in no time at all. What are you going to eat? Now, in Florida, we prepare for hurricanes, so we have plenty of canned food and plenty of water most of the time. Some of you have used it up and don't have that supply, but it's a good practice. And again, I'm not here to scare you, but you have to be ready, folks. And I foresee in the near future, in the very near future, that we will have blackouts and we could be sitting in the dark, but not me, and nor should you. So look into getting a generator, and listen, if the power goes out during a lightning storm, somebody runs into a pole, you might be the only house on the block that has power. Now, in this book, and I didn't write it, I helped test the stuff, Chuck Harder did, I have